Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the FSL Mobile Legends Bang Bang Tournament, and this is the Philippines edition. My name is Aries, and brought to bring you the third place as well as the grand finals, which are taking place today. Remember, it's a best of 3 tournament, but the grand finals is going to be a BO5. So in case you missed out on anything, well, this is how the brackets kind of look at this point in time. You do see the teams are pretty close, or rather we are drawing the tournament close to an end, and third and fourth place will have the same price, and that's 1,000 diamonds. Second place is 2,000, and then in first place they will walk away 4,000 diamonds. So that's a lot of points to play for, or diamonds to play for. And the first match of the day, it's gonna be BREN ESPORTS VICTRESS up against NEXPLAY Predator TEMPEST, and I think the teams are already ready. So without further ado, I'm just gonna jump straight into the first game. So there we have it coming up on your screen right now. This is gonna be the first game of the day, and very excited to see how the draft will go. I mean, it's pretty much, I would say it's pretty much gonna be the same as the other tournament, but so far, the whole tournament has been pretty similar in terms of draft. I don't think we have seen anything that's too different coming out of them, and obviously I think we will see something that might be a little bit similar as we head into the grand finals. But for now, third placing match between these two teams. BREN ESPORTS VICTRESS, they choose to ban out Lupa and Popo, or Popo and Lupa, and they're gonna be picking banning out the Hylos as well. Bruno and Chao getting banned out, and that's gonna be BREN ESPORTS VICTRESS picking up the Asmurda. And then they also go for the Dyrov. So this is gonna be the first Dyrov we've seen. Remember, the third and the fourth place will have the same price. So hopefully, it is just purely pride on the line now, because they've got pretty much the same price to play for. Obviously, the grand final is gonna be a lot different. I assume that the team that we're gonna be seeing will play a lot more aggressively, and hopefully they do. But for now, we're gonna see MPT pick up the Tamus as well as the Masha. I'm not sure about the Masha pick. I feel like the Masha pick is a bit early, and it is still a decent fighter, especially with Cho getting banned out. You don't really have much choices left, and they pick up the carry as well. Claude being left open for both sides. I'm guessing the MPT will either ban out the Claude, or they will ban out the Granger. I think either one is okay. It's not too bad of a ban if they choose to ban either one, and then BREN ESPORTS VICTRESS can then pick whatever is left between the two. I don't see them going for anything out of the ordinary. I mean, Valor's also open. Valor is pretty decent on BREN ESPORTS VICTRESS side. They need the Valor for themselves, and on BREN ESPORTS VICTRESS, I'm definitely looking to take out the Valor. I think Valor's will suit into MPT's draft, because it will stop. Okay, at this point in time, I'm not sure what's going on. They banned the Natalia, which I do agree Natalia is very useful. And it might just be set up a team fight comp, and they don't want to have their MM under threat, so that's why they banned Natalia. That's the only reason why I think they will ban it out. MPT, they pick up the Buxa. They have a pretty solid tanky draft, I would say. You got the Tamus, you've got the Masha, you've also got the Buxa picked up. But yeah, I want to see between these two teams who's gonna go for that Claude, or rather, will BREN ESPORTS VICTRESS go for the Claude? MPT is definitely not going for. They already picked up the carry. Yeah, Kimi is fine, but that's gonna they have a lot of magical damage. I think that raw physical damage is kind of lacking. Although they do have the Jawhead, and Jawhead late game does a ton of damage. I still feel like picking up a Claude would have been a lot better there. Although that being said, the Sun MPT don't really have a lot of squishy targets. But yeah, MPT, they definitely should go for the Valor. The Valor will fit in the draft pretty well. It does help to push away the Jawhead. It's effective against the Asmurda. It's also kind of effective against the Atlas to a certain point. I think it just works really well in the draft, so that's what I feel. So MPT, yep, they go for it. It's pretty decent per se. I don't think there's anything too wrong about either side draft. It's pretty okay. I feel like MPT does have that slight edge if they can, you know, fend off that early game damage coming up from BREN Esports VICTRESS, especially the Kimi, and you know, that's if they go into the late game, and that's where the carry becomes very dangerous.
Welcome to Mobile Legends! 5 seconds till the enemy reaches the battlefield. Smash them! All troops deployed!
Alright, so we are finally back, and like I said, we're gonna be seeing these two teams fight it out for that third placing spot. And obviously BREN Esports VICTRESS looking to apply a bit of pressure in the jungle. They are taking quite a bit of damage from the Atlas, and that's gonna be a burst fireball coming through. Just good enough to get the first blood for themselves. Atlas will be the first one to go down. Draw it in kind of a 1v1 skirmish, although the rest of NEXPLAY are catching up, and they should be able to get a double kill. Yeah, NEXPLAY Predator TEMPEST. Bragging rights up for grabs for both these two teams, and I'm guessing that, you know, BREN Esports VICTRESS, they wanna exploit this as murder, because if you look over to the side of NEXPLAY, they do have the carry, and that's gonna be a bit of a threat to the ass murder. But you know, if she plays like decent first half of the game and she does keep the Marsha in check, I think she wouldn't have too much of an issue on this top lane. I mean, they don't really look like they're ganking they're going to gank the top lane anytime soon, so I'm not too worried for that. I'm more concerned about the Marsha and whether or not she can hit that late game, although you know, this early game, I would say early game advantage that the side of NEXPLAY have. The fact that they managed to get the 2 kills, I think that's gonna help snowball into what a chain of events that could allow the Marsha to have the freedom on the top lane if BREN Esports are forced to rotate. But now they're gonna start sieging that tier 1 tower. Bucks are gonna come up to the top lane to help as well. They might be even able to get a kill onto Muted. One more shot should do the trick, but Cole's there to make sure that her tank will get out safely. Meanwhile, Carry gonna go back to base as the bot lane. Don't think we'll see too much of drama on the bottom side. You know, Tamu's in his Jawhead, nothing really aggressive from coming out of these two. They might just trade a little bit of blows. Oh, good ejector there as well. And Madame, I don't think they can. She can kind of bring down Keanu Reeves. She's kind of used her Cauldron Inferno a bit early for my liking, and obviously not fully making use of the regen that it's gonna allow her to output Keanu Reeves. So she's doing decent with the Molten Size, right? She's trying to lay down whatever damage she can. Meanwhile, mid lane, Muted's gonna be babysitting Colleen throughout this match. Pretty sure Colleen's gonna go for the BOD. Meanwhile, bot lane, I think that is going to be a kill on Madame, and they should be able to pick up Turtle along the way. So that is a mini comeback for BREN Esports VICTRESS at this point. You know, they've taken over in terms of goal lead, and we couldn't even see our first major team fight. They managed to secure the Turtle, but now ejected as well. One more time, they throw Roche over the wall. They're going to get the kill onto the Atlas, and now they are even going for Keanu Reeves. Don't think Buck's gonna pursue this. He's dropping really low, but Roche, she really wants this kill, or at least Try to stop this red buff from getting taken out. It gets stolen by the carry. Oh no, it doesn't. It gets secured by Colin. But Triss is dropping so low. No way out for this Sicilian. And next play, they will increase their lead 4-1. And obviously they can look to now push out the bot lane. They kind of swapped sides, so Tamus is going to go up against the Asmrada. A good choice on next play's part, in my opinion, because you know she's obviously not going to do very well against the Jawhead. You know, Jawhead is going to just pop those smart missiles every single time Tamus jumps on her. So I think that's a better lane matchup. But immediately Madame getting ganked at the top side, nothing that she can do. She tries to run, and the Fatal Links will bring her back into the fight. All the way back to the base she goes. Meanwhile, bottom lane, Masha up against this Jawhead, kind of a new contender down in the bottom lane. And Keanu Reeves, she senses that something is wrong. Goddess trying to slow it down. One more shot should do the trick. Just slightly out of range of the burst fireball. And they're gonna just give up this tier 1 at the bottom. Look at how quickly they're taking it. Meanwhile, top side, Baxia doing a good job at slowing down this push. Colin desperately trying to push down this tier 1. And she did manage to hold on long enough for Madame to return to lane, but we could see Madame instantly falling. Gaza now charging up. Daxi Cascade, it will secure that tower first. And I'm sure Madame's gonna go down for the 3rd time in this game. But I'm not being able to really do much there, I would say. Etty already on the turtle. Immediately using that thunderclap. And no steal there coming for Keanu Reeves. Good job by Eddie Yang to secure the turtle. Meanwhile, middle lane, Searing Torrents just to push them further. Fatal Links onto the Baxia, but doesn't catch anyone out. Here comes Carry. And both sides is gonna back off, not really wanting to commit to fight. Meanwhile, bottom lane, Keanu Reeves. This lane matchup definitely favoring the Masha a lot more. And Russia is just gonna come to push, send the Jawhead back for a bit. Triss slightly behind in farm as compared to I would say almost identical in terms of farm to Valera, but obviously she's gonna need a lot more items for her to be way more effective than Valera. You know, even without items, Valera can still have a stun. You know, she does have a slow, she can put out decent damage, but you know, Sister just needs so much item to be effective. Next lane, unable to defend the tier 1 bot lane, and they just desperately trying to push VICTRESS back. Meanwhile, top side, they got Gatside surrounded, pushing her against the wall. And here we go, Tamus starting on modern size. Meanwhile, bottom lane, they already managed to get the solo kill, but that doesn't matter because now next play, can they recover from that loss? They sacrificed the Baxia there. And they're certainly looking to get this tier 1. They should be able to do so. Madame taking too many shots there. Down to half HP. Triss comes in with the Batvis. Or with the Batrike, and no kills, but you know, next play they will take what they can get. But they have to rotate quickly because BREN esports are already making light work of this tier 2. It looks like they want to steal this blue buff as well. Not sure if that is an intended jump, but now onto the backline. They managed to get the Atlas. And without the frontliner, will they go for more? Oh, the burst fireball doesn't even stop them. They just go right through it. And they're going to get a kill onto the Valor as well as the Baxia. Not even the shield Unity get him out of trouble in that instance. Madam will go in with the Molten Scythes. Has Conrad Inferno, tries to stick on the Keanu Reeves, uses Unstoppable Force, and here comes reinforcements. Goddess, look at the Strand coming in. Colleen dropping really low, but now she's finally managed to get out of range of that carry. And Goddess is gonna respect that damage, gonna back off. And that lead that next play kind of had is now retreated to almost nothing. Dunks Cascade will pick her up once again, and BREN esports have sort of taken this game over. They have the 2 kill goal lead, and on top of it, they also have the better map control. NEXTPLAY unable to hold on to the lead that they had in the first good 8 minutes of this game. A couple of good team fights have, or rather, a couple of good team fights for BREN Esports have kind of sent NEXTPLAY down in terms of net worth. They can't really do much against this lineup. They need this carry to farm in terms of items. She's got the Endless Banner as well as the golden stuff, but obviously she needs more. Rocher dropping really low. Colin trying to abuse that range that she has. Try to zone out members of NEXTPLAY from defending this tier 2. But I don't think they can do much. Sooner or later that tier 2 will go down, and them obviously trying to hold on to whatever hope they have. Baxia dropping in all by himself. Fatal Links just to put him even further behind those enemy lines. And they can't do much. Lord's gonna come out in 9 seconds. Joyhead already making his way, or rather her way. I'm sure they will start taking the Lord. Ready with the NOD to try to reduce the healing regen coming off the Asmarda. That's pretty decent item pickup, but it doesn't really matter if they don't have the damage to bring down the Atlas fast enough before the team fight can occur. It's gonna go uncontested. They will secure the Lord. Meanwhile, top lane Gasai forced to use the flicker there. Goddess doing a good job at sticking on top of her, but they're gonna have to back off this one. Looks like NEXTPLAY are now gonna have to turn up in the defense, while BREN Esports VICTRESS obviously feeling pretty good at this point. You know, up ahead by almost 7k. In fact, 7k is the right number. And they're also feeling a little bit comfortable to take a fight as and when they want. You know, they have the threat of the Unstoppable Force Injector coming out from the Chorehead. You know, they can kind of isolate someone, and then with the Fatal Links coming out for Muted, they can, you know, further isolate the target. And now jumping in, Fatal Links tries to go in. Purify immediately popping on the Valor as well as the carry. But despite that, they still get 2 kills onto the Marsha as well as the carry. Purify not gonna save them from the damage output that BREN Esports have. They jump in even further. Fatal Link still on cooldown, so no jump there by Colin. Trying to isolate them with that maximum charge up. She doesn't even need to use the ultimate. Rocher dropping really low. Maximum charge not being able to land onto the Baxia. Just gonna use the Shuri to get out. I think this is pretty much gonna be GG. Camera a bit wonky there, but it is still a pretty comfortable game, I would say, coming up from the side of BREN, or rather BREN Esports VICTRESS, who I would say look a lot more comfortable towards the late game. They don't really have too much to worry about. You know, you look at NEXTPLAY, they did have a really good 8 minute, like the first 8 minutes were in NEXTPLAY's favor, and you could see they're really comfortable with trying to rotate around the map. But ever since, you know, at the moment Kimi got her glowing wand, I think that's where the fight started to turn, and you know, BREN Esports kind of step up the pressure there. But I gotta say, on NEXTPLAY's part, they didn't really do much to stop VICTRESS. I guess like swapping the lanes did help the Tamus a little bit more, especially against the Asmarda. It's gonna help a little bit better, and you know, I think the little bit of a swap did do NEXTPLAY a favor by holding off VICTRESS for a bit, but at the end of the day, BREN Esports, they still walk away with game 1. That being said, we'll go for a short break, but when we are back, we will jump into game 2. And remember, this is gonna be a best of 3, so we'll see how game 2 goes. Hopefully NEXTPLAY can bounce back from that. Like I said, you know, they both of them pretty much have secured the 1000 diamonds for 3rd and 4th place. So we will, it's really for breaking rights, that's about it. So we'll go for a short break, but when we are back, game 2 between BREN Esports VICTRESS and NEXTPLAY Predator Tempest.
the warm feel of my passion burning. Woohoo! You feel that? Hey, very nice kick. I'm on top of the world.
Killing spree! Mega kill!
You feel that? Ha!
You have slain an enemy! Launch attack! Legendary!
Ha!
Double kill!
Ha!
Legendary!
I'm on top of the world. Hey,
First blood!
Download for free Mobile Legends Bang Bang.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the FSL Mobile Legends Bang Bang Tournament, and we are about to head into Game 2 between BREN, ESPORTS, VICTRESS, and MPT. BREN, ESPORTS, VICTRESS did manage to pick up Game 1, and, you know, for bragging rights, they are trashing it out in this best of 3 series. And like I said, they both managed to secure 1,000 diamonds, so that is a sweet payday. But all eyes is going to be obviously on the match that's going to happen right after this. It's going to be the grand finals, a best of 5. Excited to see who's going to walk out of that, the grand champions. But for now, it is Game 2 between NEXPLAY Predator TEMPEST and BREN ESPORTS VICTRESS. MPT gonna ban the Chow out first, while BREN ESPORTS will settle for banning out the Popo and Koopa.
Your team is banning.
And we're gonna see the Bruno getting banned now. I think MPT are very focused on banning out the Bruno. I think in most of the games they have been either taking the Bruno for themselves or banning it out. So I'm pretty surprised to see that they are focusing on this ban. Meanwhile, BREN Esports, they take away the high loss, and I think they still want to go for this Atlas pick that they have. Provided they can ban out the Valor, although you know MPT, they have a little bit of cracks in the armor. I felt like they were not playing up to scratch in the previous game where they kind of just rolled over after having the lead. They lost one team fight, and you know they kind of just allowed BREN Esports VICTRESS back into the game. They should have played a lot more aggressively because of the fact that they had the Valor. Either if you're not gonna play aggressively, you gotta hold the line long enough for at least the carry to try to go into the late game. But hey, that's game 1, and MPT gonna still focus on taking up the Tamus, similar to what they had in the previous game 1. And ASPERT is gonna be thrown over to start the BREN Esports VICTRESS. And I think they should follow this one up with the Jawhead. I think Jawhead did absolutely fantastic for them. But they do pick up the carry first, so it's pretty similar to how they drafted in game 1. They want to go for those core heroes that are very comfortable with. Primarily would be the ASPERT, and they kind of work around with this, you know, rotating carry, you know. But in the previous game, it was actually MPT that had the carry, so I think BREN was just the fact that they didn't get the Tamus, it's fine. You know, they'll go for those two, and then they can actually go into what I believe should be the Atlas as well as the Jawhead, if the previous game was an indication of how they're gonna draft for game 2. MPT, they pick up the Natalia, and obviously you know Natalia is super annoying to play with. I hate playing against Natalia, and I can understand why they chose to ban it out in the previous game, but for now they do actually pick it up, and we're gonna see how they really utilize Natalia, and you know how they're gonna reposition the smoke bomb, how they're gonna use the hunt to try to get the kills off onto the carry, which I believe should be the primary target of MPT this game wise. We're gonna see Uranus pick up for BREN Esports. I guess banning out, like, it really depends on how comfortable they are with this Uranus off lane. I think if they are comfortable with, I'm sure that they are comfortable with it, but how comfortable they are by leaving the Uranus alone, especially up against like someone like a Valor. If they pick up, I'll totally understand if MPT pick up Valor and put in the side lanes against Uranus. That would be so sick. Because I play Valor quite a bit, and I think Valor is super good against Uranus. And basically, he's good against heroes regen, and you know, heroes that kind of need to stick on their opponents. For instance, like a Valor, not Valor, a Uranus or Tamus, you know, heroes like Jawhead, heroes that need to close the gap to be effective in their 1v1 duels. I think Valor is just super good against that. They ban out the Raphaelia, and at this point, I don't know what's happening anymore. I don't know. I feel like they're just having a little bit of fun with the draft. They're just gonna pick heroes that they want to play. And BREN Esports VICTRESS, they pick up the Kaja. I think MPT can go for Kimi's banned out, so they can't really go for that. But they can still go for Claude. Claude is pretty good here. I think Claude, Roger's fine. You know, you do get quite a bit of crit. With his ultimate, you get that one-shot potential that is super effective against the carry as well. So I guess Roger will work. Jawhead's a good choice. They do look at the Jawhead. And the Xbox is still open. They can actually go for the Xbox. But, you know, with the ASMRD, I guess they'll pick up a tank. So Atlas will make more sense, absolutely. So similar to what they had in game 1, but except this time around, they do have the Kaja as well as the Atlas. So ASMRD is definitely going to be off lane. I think BREN Esports should be able to get this one. Depending on how well MPT can get the farm onto the Roger. If the Roger doesn't get farmed up enough, he doesn't get his endless better quick enough to take part in fights, then we might see a bit of an issue, because at the end of the day, Roger is a hero that requires a ton of farm to be effective. You want to get like Berserker's Fury, you want to get like a lot of crit damage onto the Roger, and that is kind of the winning factor for MPT. But you know, if they don't get the they don't get the Roger farmed up, then BREN ESPORTS VICTRESS, I think it's gonna have a pretty easy time. At the end of the day, if you look at the draft for MPT, they don't really have they don't have anything at all to really go against the Ash Murder. She's just gonna jump in the Falling Star Moon, and she's gonna have a pretty easy game for her lane. Yeah, if she doesn't get ganked early game, that is.
All troops deployed.
Milton gonna be amid while the rest of the teams on the top side immediately Goddess gets the first blood on the Gasai, and they recognize the threat with Esparta. Like I said, if they do not gank her enough, she will become a problem. And hey, what do you know? They do go for the first blood. Get the first kill down, and that is a pretty decent gank. Obviously, Nutella is just so strong at this point. Super annoying to play with, like I said, with the smoke bombs, as well as, you know, having the ability to just burst someone down. And that was at level 1. It's a level 1 gank, and I'm pretty surprised to see that they took her down so quickly. I'm sure she added claw dash there. I didn't see that fight really happen, but I'm guessing like claw dash would have added first, because it does make a lot more sense to add like a skill that can do damage at level 1 than, you know, smoke bomb, which doesn't really affect them. That being said, she did hit that level 2 the moment she killed someone, so she did manage to pick up the smoke bomb. And I think this is where BREN ESPORTS, they're looking for a pause. Nah, it's actually MPT that goes for pause. So NEXPLAY requesting for the timeout. And if you're watching this right now, good evening, and do remember to comment in this section below, or your right, depending on where you're watching this, on Twitch, YouTube, or Facebook. Remember to comment in the comment section who you think it's gonna pick up the who's gonna be third place, first question, and then obviously who you think is gonna be the grand champions of this tournament. And I gotta say that I feel like ARKANGEL has that little sort of unstoppable force within them. It looks so hard to take them down. You know, you watch just this game, and they were going up against BREN ESPORTS VICTRESS, and they made light work of BREN ESPORTS. And I gotta say, it was a one-sided series. 2-0, both games ending like, I think one game was before 10 minutes, and the other game was before the 40th minute mark, if my memory serves me well. But yeah, that's what I kind of remembered. So waiting for NEXPLAY to reconnect. I think one of the players might have a little bit of an internet issue. That's fine. But yeah, I think it's important for VICTRESS to try to stay ahead. But for now, or not stay ahead, but you know, try to come back from that first blood. And obviously it's gonna be hard to do so because there is a Natalia on MPT side. It looks like we can get the game going again. MPT breaking the smooth screen, immediately going for the claw dash. Not be able to get Gasai for the second time. Once beaten, twice shy, they say. NEXPLAY trying to hold on to this lead that they have, apply a bit of pressure down the bot, fan off the wave. Meanwhile, Natalia's gonna start cutting off this Crips. It looks like we're gonna get a kill onto the bottom lane, but look at the top side. Keanu Reeves trying to hold off NEXPLAY. This side's not really letting us muck. Triss once again giving away another kill. NEXPLAY just playing the patient game, you know, like I said, trying to get the Roger farmed up. BREN esports now facing a little bit hit on the top side. One more hit should do the trick. Keanu Reeves a little bit lucky to stay alive. Atlas, as well as Kaja's gonna come in.
Turtle resurrecting soon.
BREN esports VICTRESS gonna be trying to get this turtle. Didn't get stolen. That's a good Fatal Links as well to catch out 2 members, or rather 3 members. But look at that Tamus with the Conduit Inferno staying alive. Muted, forced to use the flicker there. Despite with the lockdown, they're having a little bit of trouble getting this Tamus off. They finally get it. They also get the kill to Natalia. Now Esperanto's gonna be in the middle of it all. Muted gonna use the Divine Judgment. That's gonna be an easy kill for them. And immediately, just like that, snap, and they get 4 kills. On top of it, they also get the turtle, and they will also walk away with the first tier turret in the bot lane, or rather in the mid lane. Chris a little bit lucky to walk away with them, trying to take down the Kaja, but similar to what we saw in the last team fight, they didn't really manage to get anyone. Well, she will go back to top lane to defend against the Uranus. A lot of endless battles probably gonna come up on the side of. Not a lot of endless battle, but only 2. It's gonna or maybe 3. It's gonna come on the side of BREN esports, right? You look at it, you know, they have the Joy, they can kind of go on it. There's also the Roger and Tamus, and you know, it's just a very good item with not exactly the most expensive, very good stats, cheap stats as some people would say. Fatal Links being used right there, tries to jump out of it, but instantly gets pulled back by the Divine Judgment. They will get a kill in the bot lane. They will also walk away with tier 1. Don't think they can do much. Meanwhile, top side, Uranus defending in the 1v3 push. In fact, he's kind of winning to a certain extent. Retribution effective, but not good enough to bring Madame Rivi down. And they're gonna have to look out for that Retribution. It's gonna cost them a bit of HP. Madame is almost learning that the hard way. Meanwhile, BREN esports VICTRESS. They spot out the Baxia, and Baxia is going to chase them away with the Shield Entity. While BREN esports are already starting up the second turret of the game, or rather turtle of the game. They secure the turtle, and now they can even get 1 more kill. I would have thought that Muted would have used Divine Judgment there. That would have been a guaranteed kill on the Baxia, but I think she's trying to save it for bigger occasions. Like maybe on a sneaky Natalia who's attempting to farm. God is forced to chase all the way back into the base. Now Keanu gonna secure this tier 1 and the top. Didn't really even need carry there, to be honest, but at least with carry now they can push in. Probably will get this without much interference. The rest of NEXPLAY are playing it a little bit safe. I mean, I said praying, but it might as well be, right? Because at this point, I don't think that if a 5-on-5 breakouts, there is very, very little scenarios which I think they will win. And at the end, getting jumped by Gasai, who used the ultimate there, didn't really manage to pick up the jaw hit. Good to see Atlas immediately moving into jungle. And I think Triss is trying to play very aggressive here, trying to get as many kills as they can and ramp up this farm that the Colleen has at this point. Probably will be into the golden stuff. They will get the tier 2 in the middle, and Lord is still needs a couple of minutes to come up, but you know, we do see NEXPLAY just playing so aggressively. They will get another kill on the bottom lane as well on the Jawhead. We kind of missed that one out, but it's fine. More importantly, BREN ESPORTS now have cut off NEXPLAY away from the rest of the map. They will also walk away with a very early tier 3 at only 8 minutes. Middle of the lane, NEXPLAY managed to clear up the bottom wave as well. Golden Staff built by Colleen, and now she can look to, you know, or rather she has exponentially increased that attack speed of hers, and that's going to be quite a bit of an issue with NEXPLAY. They don't really have someone that's tanky enough to stand in front line other than the Baxia, but he's going to get shredded because the stacks cover the carry. In fact, she's really taken Lord with a little bit of a health to Kaja. Jawhead clearing down the ball lane. Meanwhile, top side, Fatal Links onto the Tamus. They managed to get a solo kill onto the Jawhead, and that might be even more. They get the kill onto the Baxia as well. Tamus finally taken down, but look at that. Colleen now pops off, and she will do decent damage against Rainy, who was forced to go back into the base, but that's going to allow BREN ESPORTS to pick up 2 tier 3 turrets. And not only that, the waves coming in from the bottom. The base is quite wide open. Mutant with a Divine Judgment. They immediately burst down Roger, and they will also take Natalia before they end the game. It's going to be a team wipe here, and it's going to be the 3rd place secured for the side of BREN ESPORTS VICTRESS. And what can I say? 2 quick games, really quick series, and I gotta say, it really does feel like these 2 teams are just having a little bit of fun with the draft, and you know, they didn't really put too much. I would say NEXPLAY just didn't really feel like putting up too much resistance. Can't really blame them, and you know, they did do their best in the other games in the tournament. So maybe it's just it's something to have a little bit of fun in the draft, see if it kind of works. But you know, I felt that the Natalia draft was okay at the start. It did allow them to get first blood, and you know, that being I thought that would be a good motivation for them to try to get a kill. But you know, BREN ESPORTS VICTRESS just a little bit too strong for that, and in the sense, especially with the Esmeralda draft and the carry just working out so well. In fact, they got like a lot of meta heroes. They did manage to get majority of the meta heroes in that draft. You know, they got the Uranus in the side lanes, they got the Kaja as a support, they even managed to get like the Atlas and carry. And you know, they did manage to pull off a lot of wombo combos. In fact, if you look at the previous game where they had the Jawhead and the Atlas, they were just zoning people out with the Ejector and the Fatal Links. Coming to this game, slightly different, but still, you know, the Divine Judgment kind of fills in the role for the Ejector, and that was pretty much like a like-for-like swap in the draft, and you know, just really smart drafting coming up from BREN ESPORTS, you know, just to fill up the gap that the Jawhead left in the second draft. But that being said, you know, once again, congratulations to BREN ESPORTS VICTRESS. They are your 3rd placed team in this tournament. But coming up next is gonna be the highlight of this 3 days, and we are finally at the very last matchup. I'm gonna bring up the brackets very quickly, and this is how the brackets look at this point of time. You know, BREN ESPORTS VICTRESS getting the 3rd place. NEXPLAY, TEMPEST is gonna be 4th. Both of them will walk with 1,000 diamonds, but all eyes now and the game that's above them, the grand finals. It's going to be a best of 5 series between ARKANGEL FE as well as FINESSE EMPRESS, and these 2 teams are crushing it out to not only be the champion of this tournament, but also walk away with 4,000 diamonds. Yup, 1st place will walk with 4,000, 2nd place 2,000, so that's half the price. I'm sure that neither of these will settle for anything but first. So we'll go for a short break. But when we are back, we'll bring you that grand finals, that hyped up grand finals. Really excited for that. We're going for a short break. When we are back, the best of 5 series that we all are waiting for. I'll see you right after this.
My aim is impeccable! Blind confidence will get you nowhere. If only I could be taller. My aim is impeccable! To me, fun is all that matters.
Killing spree! Monster kill! Double kill! Double kill! Legendary! Double kill! Mega kill! Executed! Double kill!
If only I could be taller.
Legendary!
Download for free. Mobile Legends Bang Bang.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, I kind of fumbled up this opening, but ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the FSL Mobile Legends Bang Bang tournament. You know, hopefully you guys had your toilet breaks because we are about to begin the grand finals, which is going to be a best of 5, and you know, 2 teams, the best of the Philippines region are now here. We have the final 2 teams, ARKANGEL FE up against FINESSE EMPRESS, and I'm dying to find out who's going to be the winner of these 2 teams. So I think they're ready. Let's just jump straight into the draft. And we've already gotten the first phase of the ban done. We banned out Lupa and Popo. And we also banned out Bruno. We banned out the Grok as well as the Kaja. I think that's pretty straightforward. ARKANGEL, they kind of forced that carry first pick. I think FINESSE EMPRESS will be looking to either take up the Hylos. I think Hylos is pretty good here. They can kind of go for Uranus if they want to. Although, you know, with the Uranus pick, they have to be careful of going up against the carry. And, you know, of course, how can I forget the Tamus and Esmeralda? I think they're gonna lock those 2 in. Pretty much gonna try to go up against ARKANGELs, who are the favorites at this point. I mean, I don't know. I feel like in terms of playstyle, they are very similar, but you know, ARKANGEL definitely looking to be a lot more aggressive in their games. You know, they look a lot more. Their games have been pretty much one-sided so far. So I'm just for that very simple reason, I feel like they are the favorites. Although if you ask me, I think both teams are really strong. I mean, definitely they are strong because they are here at the grand finals. So we'll see how that one goes in the game. I think draft is only half the story. But ARKANGEL, they pick up the Uranus and the Jawhead, and we have seen how dangerous they can be when they pick the Jawhead. They look so comfortable in it, and I think they will be looking to exploit this early game ganking potential that they can have if they pick up like an like either. I don't think they go for Claude. They haven't really gone for the Claude. They look to pick up Kimi most of the time, so they're gonna be more than happy to give the Claude over because they've already picked up the carry. So I don't think they'll pick the Kimi as well. I think they look to take up a mage that's really good in ganking. Selena looks good, although Valor's also open. There are other heroes like, I don't know, even Digi looks good actually, to be honest. You know, Digi against the lineup FINESSE EMPRESS, although there is an ass murder, so that shield that comes over Time's Journey is not gonna be any effective at all in team fights. So maybe another support. Like, I think Valor still looks good here. They ban out the Aurora. Kind of like an outlier ban, I would say. It's not something that you would expect coming out, especially in the grand finals. I don't think you have played the Aurora yet. Maybe it's kind of a target ban. Or maybe they played a couple of games yesterday night after their tournament and they realized, oh, you know what, Aurora is pretty annoying to deal with, so maybe they just want to ban that out. Obviously, there are other heroes that kind of similar to Aurora. Like I said, Valor is a really good example. Veil is quite similar if you think about it. You know, a huge CC, a huge ulti that can set up combos, set up the fight for the rest of the teammates, and pretty annoying slow in most of the skills. But it looks like FINESSE EMPRESS, they pick up the Phasar. ARKANGEL ban out the Sicilon. I'm more excited to see what their mage pick is. I think whatever fight they go with, it should be fine. Terisla is not too bad. I don't think they... Oh, so it's going to be a roaming Jawhead. So they're going to pick Jawhead as a roam. I think that makes the most sense. And then Valor as like this mage that's going to be roaming along with the hyper carry. Yeah, this is interesting. I would have not expected them to pick Jawhead as an off laner over the side lanes, because from how they have played, they really do like this very strong side laner. So I guess in some ways it does fit the bill, because they want the Terisla to win that 1v1, and obviously the Terisla is just annoying to deal with. I think they might just put they'll attempt at least to try to put the Terisla against I would say Terisla against the Esmeralda makes more sense. And then you put the Uranus against the Tamus, because you know the Uranus will have a lot of easier time, and obviously the shield and all that is gonna get eaten up by Wings, who's playing on the Esmeralda. So yeah, I think that makes more sense. And obviously the Terisla, he doesn't need shield. He's gonna have a lot of lifesteal in his kit, So that's where he's going to be effective against the Esmeralda, because he's not too worried about any of the shield getting taken up, whereas the Uranus does have to worry about that. Finesse Empress, they lock up with the Buxia as the last draft, and that's pretty much the first draft of the game. Remember, like I said, this is the grand finals and it is a best of 5, so no mistakes can fall to make you. Oh, you can make a mistake, but obviously you're not looking to do that.
5 seconds till the enemy reaches the battlefield. Smash them. All troops deployed.
Arkangel's looking to play a bit aggressively, and logically the matchup that they won, I think, you know, like I said, Uranus down the bot against the Tamus would do a lot better, and we might see the rotation here. And Terisla suddenly going up top. We do see a little bit of invade coming in. Dr. Chopper trying to peel for the Valor with the Ionic Disc, dropping really low. Oh, if he landed that, I'm sure that would be the first blood. But meanwhile, another invade coming up for Archangels and the bottom half of the jungle. And really comes down to who's able to steal that blue buff. Well, they did manage to secure that. But now the first blood coming through. They get the kill with Valor rotating down. The burst fireball too much for Wings to handle. And Archangels, they get the successful invade that they came for. And Birgit gonna be playing a bit safe. She hasn't really spotted anyone in the bot lane, so she wants to make sure that there is no one that wants to come in for the gank. Meanwhile, middle, Defrost. I think the toss will come pretty soon. Ejector onto the back line. Valor followed up by the Searing Torrents. That is a perfect combo. And they get another Q. They pulled that off perfectly. Ejector into the Searing Torrents just to push him further back into the back lines. Good combo there. And top lane is going to be the target next. When we go away, gonna be spotting those members on the Valor and the Jawhead. Not being able to get the gank off, but that's fine. Meanwhile, you see Esmeralda gonna be trying to cut this wave. Meanwhile, we do see an invade from Archangels. They're not gonna wait for the gank. Searing Torrents already used onto... Oh, look at that. They're all grouped up. The Feathered Airstrike is going to land on all 3 members. They're dropping really low. Follow-up coming from Raven. Go away. The Falling Star Moon able to pick up the Q onto the Valor. Flicker used at the very last second. Will get Defrost out and save. And it looks like Archangels, despite that unsuccessful invade, did buy some time for the carry to pick up the turtle. And while Finesse Empress still trying to keep their opponents in check, still trying to stop this invade from coming through. Defrost looking to use Unstoppable Force. Spots out the Farsa. They managed to get the steal. And although it's on the Terisla, which isn't the best target, it is a steal nonetheless. Cool now. Doing a good job at making sure that Claude and Farsa can't chase them. Blazing Duet being used. And they know they can certainly take a team fight with Blazing Duet on cooldown. They want to get a kill onto Raquette. It managed to chase in onto the Ejector. No follow-up action coming up from Archangels. A little bit too far for them. The Flicker being used by Lexa as well. But now Yumiko lagging behind. Gotta use it. Trying to get out. will be able to get out of the range. In fact, re-engages. Bifrost now throws him away when he drops a Revitalize out of position, and Carry will be able to get the kill. But Valor getting ganked onto the back line. They forgo that. They get the kill. 2 more kills for Lexa jumping in, and those stacks will do their job. A lot of mayhem in the fight. The Ion this damage coming through for Dr. Chopper, and I gotta say the Uranus left unchecked for the entirety of the fight, and those damage from the Ionics, this will add up. Significant enough to peel away for the rest. Although they didn't lose the Valor, they did manage to pick up 2 cores. And Archangel looking to steamroll in this fight. And now they eventually will swap lanes. Meanwhile, another fight coming up. Searing Torrents. Baxia a little bit confused as to where to go. They block the spin, and they get the ejector off as well, just to stun up the Farsa. And Yumiko often left a little bit out of position because of the shield unity, but now Defrost is gonna spot. It picks up 1 kill. The smart missiles will do the trick, and another fight happening in the jungle. Mitsuha has to back off. Yumiko once again isolated from the rest of Finesse Empress. And Archangels, they get the easy kill, and this carry is definitely starting to pop off. And in comparison, Raquette, who has yet to get the first major item up, carry 1 whole item up ahead, has the Endless Battle already starting on the golden stuff. Demon Hunter Sword nowhere near completion yet for Raquette, and she needs that Demon Hunter Sword. No, she's not gonna be effective in fight now. They're gonna get the chase onto Dr. Chopper. They can't get the kill. And look at that, those stacks. Carry just immediately shredding him with the light wheel mark. And though she did not manage to get the kill, she did put substantial damage on it. Mitsuha now the next target, falling behind. And not even the Conjuring Inferno will save her from that. Dr. Chopper now putting a little bit of pressure more onto the second tier towers. They get the gank on the top lane as well. Unstoppable force. And Winx also has to use the flame shot to push the Jawhead away. Meanwhile, bottom lane, Dr. Chopper already taking the tier 2 as Murder, trying to proxy farm as well, just to try to put pressure on the top side, but Terizla's gonna come in time, and I don't think they will get this tier 1.
Turtle resurrecting soon.
And immediately Archangels looking to invade. They keep track of the timing, and they are on point. I think they did manage to steal away the blue buff. And they also get the kill onto Mitsuha. Enchanted Talisman completed for the Farsa, but she definitely needs more than an Enchanted Talisman. They need so much farm. Look at that. Archangels all over the map, not giving Finesse Empress any sort of a break. Immediately cutting the wave on the top side. They're gonna suck up all these shots from the Feathered Airstrike, not doing any damage whatsoever. They get the stun off as well. The Ejector gonna push in, and they complete the combo as well as the Q onto the Farsa. Raven going away, doing a lot of damage onto both the Valor as well as the Jawhead, but they're just gonna back off instantly, and that's not gonna amount to anything. Finesse Empress just constantly 1 step behind compared to Archangels, who are just playing so aggressively. They know they have this lead, and they know that they can kind of just bully Finesse Empress. Look at that, Yumiko going in with the shield unity. A bad call there, instantly gets taken out, and I don't think that even the Tortoise Poisons will be able to do anything much. Meanwhile, Rain go away, being isolated from the rest of the team. She will be kept alive because of her passive, but soon enough, the stun comes through and she gets shredded to pieces. Lexa just too much damage on the hands of Archangel at this point. And for the most part, Finesse Empress haven't been able to have time to even catch their breath. Constantly ganked out by Archangels. And every single time that buff comes up, they're taking it. Look at that. Lexa double buff. Then you get Dr. Chopper, who's holding on to that blue buff that they managed to steal, and just like a clockwork, they will get the blue buff off Finesse Empress, who haven't been able to step on their base at all. They even have to resort to using Feather Airstrike to try to clear off those waves before they step into the tier 3. Now we've got Archangels. They know the Lord is up, they will take it. Calamity Ripper coming up on the Esmeralda.
Initiate retreat.
But look at that, Necklace of Durance already up on cool, and like I said, always one step ahead even in items. And this is just one-sided affair so far. Archangels is looking to be a bit too strong. I think Finesse Empress, they want to force a fight here before the Lord comes in. Ejector coming out as well, tosses Baxia onto the enemy lines. Revitalize, not going to keep her alive. And meanwhile, we do have the super minion waves coming in the bot lane, top side. Lord pushing in. Uranus just trying to draw away the attention of Finesse Empress, and they get the easy route through the top side. The threat of the unstoppable force just looming over the heads of Finesse Empress, and don't think they can do much. Terizla jumping in by his own. And the penalty zone used a little bit prematurely, but look at that, Mitsuha jumps in, has the current Inferno, but not even the ultimate World Keeper. They do manage to burn away one immortality charge from Bergrave, but is that enough? Ejector tossing the Uranus onto the backline, and that is good enough. They stick onto Yumiko, who I think should go down pretty soon as well. The Ionic Disc will pick up that kill. And while all of that is happening, Lexa's just shredding the base wide open. They can pretty much go for the GG here. And a couple of last hits should do the trick. That's soaking up all this damage from the backdoor protection. And that's not going to be enough, as Archangels pick up an easy game 1. Finesse Empress not able to hang on to any sort of lead. In fact, I don't think they had a lead at all in that game. And you can kind of see it through the stats right now. A lot of damage done from the Esmeralda. In fact, Esmeralda was substantially the only one that did pushing. The rest were just busy trying to defend for their hanging on to their dear lives, in fact. And you know, obviously Lexa did the most damage in terms of turret, and you know, it's surprising to see that Valor's the only one that went down. And you know, it's obviously he's the squishiest target there. You know, she's pretty much the only one that's constantly being targeted, because there was just no other target they could have gone for. Carrie's just doing a good job at keeping the distance. You know, Jawhead and Terizla's just so hard to break down. You got Uranus that's pushing on the side lanes, you know, excelling in the 1v1 against the Tabu. So yeah, it's really no surprise to see that Ku was the only one that went down 3 times. But that being said, you know, Archangels, like I said, looks pretty unstoppable, and there's a reason why they are the favorites at this point in time. And we'll go for a short break, but like I said, the best of 5, so it's far from over. Hopefully, you know, Finesse Empress can, you know, try to improve the draft. I think the draft wasn't too bad, but it's just that it's a little bit too late game. You know, Claude just not able to keep up with the pace of how Archangels were able to outgang. I really think that most of that game 1 came down to rotation. Archangels were just so quick at trying to be efficient, you know, constantly getting those targets, and with those invades, man, they were just really good, and that was through the Valor. So I think, you know, Finesse Empress should take out the Valor, either that or take it up for themselves. And it was really pretty much the Valor that allowed them to be that aggressive early game. I think if you take out the Valor, they will definitely replace it with maybe something like a Selena or maybe a Natalia if it's not banned out. But you know, the Valor just opens up so much option to be aggressive in the opening stages when you don't ban him. So we'll go for a short break when we are back. Game 2 between ARKANGEL's FE and Finesse Empress.
Blast him harder! I'm gonna slaughter that bumpkin Franco myself!
Time to look alive, lads! Let's send Bane and his freaks back to the bottom of the sea! I can't bloody My suffering brothers and sisters, you will be free.
Blimey! That's Aurora Heart! Boys, we've got a big booty to take!
Alright, so we are back after the short break, and as you saw, ARKANGEL's really dominant in a game 1 in a best of 5 series against Finesse Empress for the grand prize of 4,000 diamonds. And remember, this is just a one-off tournament. It's nothing gonna do with the FSL circuit. If you want to find out more about that, we'll release news to you as soon as the whole COVID-19 situation improves, and as the more tournaments are allowed to be held offline. We obviously want to bring the atmosphere back, but that is going to be left for a later part of the year. Like I said, we have to see how it goes. If you want to find out more about the news and FSL, you can always check out our Instagram as well as our Facebook page, and you can check out all the past games that have been played, the VODs on YouTube as well as Facebook. And you can, if you're watching this on Twitch, well, as long as the VODs stay up there, you can always watch that. I think the draft for the second game has already begun, so let's just jump straight into it. Finesse Empress now gonna take up the blue side, and we got ARKANGELs on the red. And it looks like we're gonna see the Grok getting banned out. I think Grok and Uranus banned out. It's fine. They pick up the Kaja. They're looking to secure like heroes that can rotate very early, and like I said, they have to be very aware of how Archangel is playing, and that's they want to be aggressive. They want to pick up heroes that can gank early game. So heroes like the Jawhead, you know, heroes like Valor, heroes like, you know, and heroes like Carry, heroes that can really exponentially increase from the very first minute of the game. And that's, you know, that's what Archangels do best. They exploit that early game gank, and then they just snowball from there. It's just so hard to fight against them. So Finesse Empress, they steal away the carry, although Archangels did manage to pick up the Tammuz as well as the Jawhead. So I think that's still a pretty decent pick. Finesse Empress, come on, you gotta pick the Valor. Don't give them the Valor anymore. That's gonna be a big mistake, I feel, in my opinion. They pick up the Kufra, which I think is okay, but you know, Kufra can only do so much at the front line, and you know, it's not like the Kufra going into Archangel's draft will make them any more of a threat, because like I said, they are looking for heroes that work off like from the get-go. From the first minute, they choose to secure the Esmeralda first, and I think they'll be looking to ban out fighters. So like heroes like Xbox, or even heroes that can do very well against the Jawhead. I wouldn't say Jawhead, but you know, heroes that can do well against Esmeralda. So heroes like Terizla, I mentioned, you know, that Terizla against Esmeralda, Terizla will do pretty decent because he doesn't really need a shield like Uranus. He's more of a hero that counts on that lifesteal, and you know, with the help of Revenge Strike and Revenge Execution, I think, or not Revenge Strike, sorry, Execution Strike and Revenge Strike, I think just to hit the waves hard, clear the waves fast, and regen from, you know, hitting so many heroes at once. So he will do good against Esmeralda, and this is why Archangel choose to ban him out. They pick up the Atlas for themselves, and it's a slower paced draft IMO. Like in my opinion, I feel like it's a slower paced draft as compared to what they had in game 1. We'll have to see what the last pick is. I mean, they haven't really reviewed the marksman yet. Claude's taken off the page. I think it might be a Kimi. Kimi actually looks good, to be honest. Kimi actually looks pretty good if they want to like put a lot of pressure early game. Granger's not too bad as well, and Granger obviously does have a little bit of the burst damage and Death Sonata, but you know what, yeah, Kimi just makes more sense to me. Kimi's just gonna help them invade early game, and you know, Granger still needs like quite a bit of items to come online. Like he needs the Bloodlust X, or he needs the BOD to be really effective in team fights. Whereas, you know, if you look at Akimi, she just needs a glowing wand. That's pretty much about it. She's probably gonna build the her jungle items first, but you know, it's really she's just so much more effective at ganking early game as compared to like, you know, as compared to like a Granger that needs a little bit of farm to be available. And like I said, the only reason why I think they'll pick up the Kimi before they did was because it's just their playstyle. They just love heroes that are cheap, and that's what I mean by heroes that are cheap, is that heroes that don't need too much items to be effective from the get-go, and Kimi is just one of them. You look at the heroes that they have, right? The Jawhead, Esmeralda, Kimi, heroes that don't need items but still effective in fights. And aside for Finesse Empress, they look pretty good as well. Like they have the carry, they have the Kaja, and they have the Xbox. But the question is, can they get the carry up as fast as what, you know, Archangels have? And I'm a little bit hesitant about both the Camilla and Kaja pick. They're both pretty meta, but you know, it just means that one of them is gonna have to be on side lane. And I have voiced my concerns for Camilla on side lane. I feel like Kaja is gonna be one roaming. But either way, like it really doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, like I think they're looking for a pause. I'm just gonna help them pause up for a bit. But yeah, I feel like the side of Finesse Empress, although they have a lot of meta heroes, you know, you look at the Kaja as well as the Camilla, like both heroes, as good as they are as a support, I don't really like them on the off lane. I feel like when they are in, you know, in the 1v1, you know, in the side lanes, they don't really do as much. You can't really, you know, utilize them to their full potential, because at the end of the day, they're just good supports. Like, Kaja's really good at ganking, Camilla's really good at soaking up damage at the front, Scarlet Petal, you know, she's good at peeling, she's good at slowing down the opponents while, you know, being able to soak up damage in the process. But, you know, you put her in a 1v1 in the off lane, she's not gonna have enough damage at all. She's not gonna have enough lifesteal to win in a 1v1. Yes, Crimson Flower does do a decent damage. There's Curse's Blood as well, but all of these work in team fights. They don't work in 1v1 as compared to like an Asmurda or like a Jawhead or even like a Tamus, who excel in side lanes, and you know, they are able to function as fighters. Whereas, you know, I just feel like Finesse Empress will lose out on that portion, and that's my concern for that. Let's see how that one goes.
Your fate has been sealed.
And we're gonna see a bit of aggression there. Archangels picking a fight that they cannot win, and now Finesse Empress looking to apply pressure in the jungle. Meanwhile, they have already taken the blue buff away from their jungle, and now they are looking to start a fight. Dr. Chopper did a good job of delaying that push, and here comes Lexa as the rest of the gang as they start to pile the damage up. Look at that, they get the first blood onto the carry, and they might be even to get triple kill. And looks like both of them are gonna share the spoils of that fight. And more importantly, I think they managed to secure the blue buff away. Yeah, I think they did. Yep, the Jawhead did manage to pick up blue buff. So Archangels, they not only did they manage to successfully invade, they also take their own blue buff, and they also got 3 kills out of that. And that is just a scary. That's the perfect beginning you can ask out of any game. And like I said, they love this Kimi pick. It's something that will help them. In the opening stages, they've really taken the turret down to a quarter of a HP, and that's less than 2 minutes. They missed the wave just a couple of seconds, but it's fine. You know, Kimi's just gonna rotate around Mitsuha already. One more hit should do the trick, and then level 5 Kimi. Oh, the maximum charge coming in at the very last moment, allowing her to get the kill. And top lane as well. What just happened? I think Kaja kinda died for that. And yeah, I'm not sure what just happened. Bergrit did manage to break a kill onto Kaja. And Archangel just in full force right now. Game 2 going. It feels like a game that was made for them. And this is where we're gonna see Tamus do a lot better. We're gonna see a pause come up. A request for a pause, but yeah, I gotta say, at this point in time, Archangels are just, they look so strong, not only in draft, but also in the way that they make the draft work. And that's what I mean. Like, you know, you kind of saw it coming, but I would have expected them to be this strong in game 2. They stole with the blue buff, and Esmeralda, you know, Dr. Chopper, she did what she could to hold on and try to delay the blue buff take, and she did it successfully, long enough for Lexa as well as the rest of Archangels to come back, defend it. They got 3 kills out of there, and I think the surprising thing for me was that Bergrit did manage to get a solo kill onto Wings, and I don't even think it was a solo kill. Like, it was pretty much 3v1, although it was underneath the turret, and that was just exceptional play coming from Bergrit. And now we are looking at a monstrous snowball effect coming through. Like, look at that, 2 minutes 42 seconds, and we've got Archangels who are up by 3.1k, and we haven't really looked at items yet. I don't even think if I want to take a look, because I'm pretty sure it's gonna be so one-sided, but I think Finesse Empress still have a way to this. We have seen that if a carry goes really super late game, she can pull the game back. But given how Archangels are, that's just like they would need to lose like 2 major team fights at this point for, you know, Finesse Empress to get a foothold back into game 2. And you know, obviously they don't really have a lot of heroes that can clear waves quickly. Yes, they do have the Xbox with the fire stakes and fire missiles, and you also have the Camilla with the crimson. Sorry, the crimson flowers. But you know, it's still early in the game. They're not really good at defending. Or rather, not them as a team, but the heroes that they have are not really good at defending the high ground. Not high ground, but you know, the base. And I just feel like they need so much more time when the heroes to come online. And this is why I said that I didn't really like picking up both the Kaja and the Camilla. If you pick up the Camilla as a supportive mage and the Kaja as the roaming tank, I think that's okay. That's perfectly fine. And then you pick two other fighters that's a lot better. Like I think Xbox is good. But instead of picking out the Kufra, maybe you swap it for something else, or maybe you sacrifice the Kaja, and then you know you pick up another fighter. Either way, I think that would have been good. But with this draft, you're just gonna see Archangel bully the two supports. Like Tamu's definitely gonna out damage Camilla in a 1v1, and you know Xbox is only substantially the only fighter that can hold his ground. Although you already saw what happened there with the Kimi and the fact that they won the early game. They're just putting so much pressure on the sides that it's almost impossible in any way for Finesse Empress to even push this wave off. I really think it's just a draft. It's just an issue of the draft. I know Finesse Empress, they are a good team. Like I've seen them perform in the semifinals. They did well in the first game as well. But you know, when you come up against Archangel, you have to first of all stop them in the draft. You can't really allow them to pick up this early game meta which they like. And you know, next part is that you just have to win them in game. You just gotta out aggressive them, not aggressive, out aggro them. We are waiting for a little bit. And yeah, I mean, like, they can put a little pressure. They have the Krufa at the end of the day. They still set up all these like wombo combos. Because I can see what they're trying to do. Like, you know, you can kind of set up with the Tyrant's Revenge and then into the Tyrant's Rage. You try to stun as many members as you can, and then that's where, you know, the Xbox comes in with the last Insanity. So they still have that one more combo going for them, and not to forget there's Camilla's Curse of Blood. So if like they can group all of the members up together, the AoE damage will be insanely good, and they should be able to win like team fights like this. That being said, will Archangels give them that opening? Will Archangels, you know, group up as 5 and take a team fight when it's not unfavorable? As long as they look out for the Krufa and they kind of stay dispersed until like a 5-on-5 really starts to break out, I think they should be fine. So that's kind of like the conundrum that I have when it comes down to breaking these fights. Is it's really like the wombo combo is there for the taking, but will the opponents give them that chance, right? Because Archangels, they're superb and positioning. They're really good in terms of spotting out like the opponent's weakness, and at this point they're just exploiting it so well. Looks like the game will resume. Archangels now walking into the red buff. They did manage to take it. Gonna give it to the Jawhead.
Turtle resurrecting soon.
Look at that, Xbox at this point only managed to hit level 3. Wing still level 2, so no Divine Judgment and no way to soak him up. The Fatal Links coming in, and they get the kill onto the Camilla. And now we're gonna see Lexa put on a lot more pressure in the middle. They're just fighting underneath the turret. They don't really care at all. And I think Yumiko has to be a little bit careful. Smart missiles, one more hit should do the trick, but they will gladly allow the Krufa to escape. While the rest of Archangels will start pushing out the side lanes. Esmeralda also pushing on the bottom. Mitsuha yet to hit the level 4. No loss is any. We'll get it as I speak. Yumiko trying to jump onto Asmodee, but the charge was a little bit too long. She's already gotten away.
Request backup.
And Bloodlust X coming out from the Tamus. That's a really quick Bloodlust X. And they're ready. In the jungle, they'll probably try to isolate away Finesse Empress from this tier 2 in the bot lane, and they will try to get a Q there. Camilla in a bad position will have to back off,
Request backup.
and looks like we're gonna see them go back to their farming ways. Like I said, Archangels will look to isolate the members of Finesse Empress from this bot lane. They're setting up a gang. Oh, Kufra coming in, jumps onto no one. That is a bad Tyrant's revenge, or rather Tyrant's jump, and they won't be able to do anything much. The Fatal Links comes in, they get the kill onto Yumiko, they get another kill as well. They finally take down Dr. Chopper, but look at this, Mitsuha just getting cleaned up by the Kimi.
Turtle resurrecting soon.
And Archangels just completely crushing these team fights. Get the tier 2 in the bot lane. I'm pretty sure they will start to make her way, or she will make her way towards the turtle now. Meanwhile, top side, Tamu's just cutting this waves, just proxy farming, while the turret gets shredded to pieces. A fleeting time coming up for the Atlas to help with the cooldown for the Fatal Links. And now they are on the chase. Cole then managed to get the Fatal Link onto the Kufra using the Annihilate as well. And then damage is going to peel away for Lexa, who comes in to get the kill. I mean, Cole did sacrifice herself, and despite them not being able to pick up any kill there, they did manage to bring down both Riken as well as Mitsuha, and that's going to allow them to pick up the tier 2 in the middle. Objective, the name of the game for Archangels right now. Look at the goal lead that they have. That 8k goal lead. And this hasn't been the easiest game for Wings. She didn't manage to just hit a level 7, so you do see the experience gel starting to balance out a little bit, although it's still like majority are still in the way of Archangels, and now they try to force onto the top lane. I think Atlas is going to go down. A little bit of a bad team fight coming in for Archangels, but here comes the Kimi here to sweep things up, gets the kill onto the Kufra, and I think this is a dead Camilla as well. Maximum charge landing at its full potential, and they get the kill. DPS, Queen's Wing coming out for Bergrit, and this is going to be one hard Tamus to kill. Meanwhile, Finesse Empress just left with the tier 3s in the lanes.
Turtle resurrecting soon.
And it looks like we've got a double tank setup. Even Jawhead is just going full defensive items at this point just to soak damage. They isolate the crew far away. Tyrant's Ridge onto 4 members, but where's the follow-up? There it is. The last insanity comes in. They get the kill onto the Jawhead. They wipe out the Tabus. They get the kill onto the Atlas as well. But here comes Lexa. Look at that. Oh my goodness. A monster of MM. And a good stun coming in at the very last second from Rain Go Away to stop the maximum charge. And Alexa was busy taking the turtle, and that's why she wasn't there for the team fight. And that was a small win for Finesse Empress to a certain extent. Like, they need these kills way more than Archangels, and you know, every single kill that they're getting will hopefully close that gap. Although Archangels working on the bigger side of things now. They did manage to get the turtle despite losing that small fight, and you know, Lexa also came to clear up 2 kills onto, I believe was the Xbox and Riket, so that is still not a big loss for them. In fact, Kimi's got the BOD completed. She's probably going to build into the Genius 1, either that or the Ice Queen 1, both. are fine. I think Genius 1 should be better because they don't really need the slow, and she can just build into damage and just burst heroes up at this point. Arkangel's just clearing up the jungle, and they'll probably just wait for the Lord to come up before making the next move. You know what would be a really good item? I think Blood Wings just on the Kimi. Like, she can just go full ham, and I think Lexa has that in mind. You can see she's already gotten the tier 2s up. Like I said, if she really wants, she can like just go super greedy. And I mean, at the end of the day, she's already completed both the magic wand. And if she wants to, she can just go for the Blood Wings. She can kind of just skip the Genius Wand. She doesn't really need like anything else. Like I said, she doesn't really need the Ice Cream Wand as well. And she's just so far ahead that getting the Blood Wings is gonna just add so much more damage than what she already has. And at this point in the game, you know, it doesn't matter whether you're near, far, wherever you are, Lexa is just gonna hunt you down. And 7-0 right now. She's even got the Purify, so even if she does get caught out by she's like in an imminent threat by getting caught up by the Kaja or the Kufra, she can just pop that Purify and she should be fine. But you know, Finesse Empress at this point in time have bigger trouble in the hand, and that is the macro play coming for Archangels. How are they going to cope with this rotation? Because if, let's say, they lose game 2, there's still a game 3, and I'm sure that Finesse Empress are not going to go down without a fight, and I want to see how they bounce back from this, because I feel like the key to stopping Archangels is in their rotation. And so far, you know, none of teams that have come up against them have been able to do that. And for the most part, Archangels are just so aggressive in their rotations that it kind of makes it hard for the opponents to even have any pockets of breathing space to farm safely.
Legendary.
Oh my goodness, the damage coming out from Lexa, instantly just bursting down Rakat. And we're gonna see another pause come up. Finesse Empress, 27 seconds without the carry, and I think that tier 3 in the middle is pretty much done. I don't think they can really defend against this. Like, although it's only like a 3-man push, it's still gonna be pretty hard unless they can get a jump onto the Kimi. But even if they do, like, at least you're just sitting on top of Lexa, and Cool can just use Fatal Links whenever Kimi's in trouble. Like, think about it, even if the Kurva jumps onto her, she has Purify, she has Cool to help her there. They can kind of use Fatal Links to bail Lexa out. There's also like the Jawhead with the Ejector. They have just so many tools to defend this Kimi, and this is just the epitome of hyper carrying at this point. They're gonna get the easy tier 3.
Lord resurrecting soon.
And looks like Archangel, they will be contented with just taking the lot at this point. Don't really need to force their game in their favor. "10 minutes lot on the dot." Looks like Finesse Empress, they will try to clear up the super minion waves before they come in, but things definitely looking grim as the lot pushes down mid lane. And Alexa will look to try to isolate, man. Look at that, instantly jumping in the falling stun wound. And they pull out the last Insanity, but I don't think it's going to be enough. It's going to be a 5-man push. Atlas will probably go down, but Atlas doesn't even go down before the game ends. And that is just a testament to how strong Archangels are as a team.
Victory!
And yeah, I don't know what to say. At this point, Archangels are just looking pretty much unstoppable. 2 wins now. The score wasn't updated, but you know, it is 2 wins for them. And Empress just getting steamrolled, I would say. But I think it's 2-0, and you know, it's a best of 5, so we still have, or rather, Finesse Empress still have a chance in this. I think Archangels are just looking to be undefeatable, or rather remain that invincible record that they have so far coming into this tournament. And I gotta say, like, I've really spotted, I've really identified why they're so strong. You know, hopefully Finesse Empress can do something about the draft in the 3rd game, because I guess in some way, if they want to mount a comeback, that is where they have to start with, and it all comes down to draft. You gotta stop allowing them to take the early game draft. Like, I know you want to pick up the Camilla, you want to pick up the Kaja, but it's not gonna work. It's just it isn't greedy, but they're good heroes. But you gotta put them in the right role. Like, Camilla in the offlane just doesn't work. Kaja in the offlane as well doesn't work. They need to pick something more sustainable. And I know Terizla was kind of banned out, but you could, I mean, even a Badang would have been better. Like, more sustainable, or maybe like Marsha will work pretty well as well. I'm not sure what's banned out. I kind of forgot. Sorry guys, I kind of forgot there. But you know, there's other heroes that you can look at. I mean, the one that really comes to my mind is Bane. He's like super underrated. I think Bane, if you know how to use him, is pretty good. There's Guinevere that can kind of sustain as well. Leomord's still open on the board. You know, heroes that are really good in just soaking up damage on the offlane. It's definitely better than Camilla at this point. But like I said, they were looking for the wombo combo. It didn't pull off, but hopefully they will be able to get things going their way in game 3. We'll go for a short break. When we are back, we will bring you game 3 and what potentially could be the last game between Archangels FE and Finesse Empress.
Blessed ancestors! I was saved by a Valkyrie! I guess this day ain't so bad after all!
We can't let Aurora Heart lose control.
Aye, aye, ma'am.
Lost. Aurora Heart is mine! Captain Bane, reign supreme!
Bane must be stopped. For our homeland, our ancestors, and the living, we will not stop fighting the evil. I am the daughter of Northern Vale, and I swear to protect it till my last breath.
Alright, and we are back for, like what I said, potentially the last game between Archangel FE and FINESSE EMPRESS. This is the grand finals of the FSL MLBB tournament, and it is the Philippines edition, and we are already in the draft, so let's just jump straight into it. Don't want to miss any of the action right now. Archangel FE so far have yet to drop a single game in the tournament. It's been 2-0 throughout, and in this best of 5 they're looking to complete the dream result, and that's going to be the 3-0 over FINESSE EMPRESS. Obviously FINESSE EMPRESS on the other hand looking to complete a reverse sweep. Hopefully they can at least win one game in the series, but they banned out both the Uranus and Kaja. Archangel kind of banned out the one Lupa, and they also banned out the Bruno. They pick up the carry, and I think they're looking to pick up something similar in game 1. Obviously they are and the same size as they were in game 1, and they swapped out for game 2, but I think they're going for something similar. So it's important that FINESSE EMPRESS don't allow that to happen. Like I said, you gotta take away all these early game heroes that they're looking for. Take away the Jawhead, take away the Asmurder, heroes that Archangels obviously are very comfortable in using. Tamu's still available on the board. I think picking up the Tamus would be pretty good. They go for the Grok. They really love this Grok pick, and I'm not sure if that is a good pick, because that's kind of, you're gonna give a lot of these heroes that Archangel have already shown that they want. They're gonna pick up the Tamus, they're gonna pick up the Asmurder for themselves, and we're gonna see pretty much a deja vu of what we saw in game 1. Obviously the Uranus has been banned out, so that is pretty decent on the part of FINESSE EMPRESS. They also prevented the Kaja pick, but we have seen that Archangels, they have like substitutes for all these heroes, and that's the issue with fighting against a team with a huge hero pool like Archangels FE, is that they are very comfortable with it. Like you ban out one hero, they immediately sub it in. We saw that happen in game 1 and game 2, where they took away the Jawhead, and or rather I believe they took away the Kaja, and then they pick up the Jawhead. You take away the Valor, and then they pick something that's pretty rather they pick a Jawhead tank as well as a Kufra tank, and so on and so forth. FINESSE EMPRESS, they pick up the Cicelon. I think banning out a tank would be pretty good. Like Valor would be a pretty good ban now. You can choose to ban out the Kufra if you want to, because you've already picked up the Grok. You can ban out the Atlas. Yep, they also ban out the Atlas. And I think Archangels now, they should ban out like Claude. Claude is the next best thing to ban out. You can either ban out the Kimi as well. Heroes that can, or rather MMs that can outskill the carry will be pretty important to ban out. They choose to ban out Terisla, so I think they're more concerned with heroes that can sustain against the Esmeralda. And that's understandable. It's important for Archangel to try to get this Esmeralda going as much as they can, and try to buy time with the Esmeralda for the carry to farm in all the other lanes. And Finesse Empress, they will be looking to pick up an MM, but I think they will leave for the last pick. They can actually pick up another fighter first. There is actually, they're still going with the Camilla pick. Not sure how they're gonna make this work though. Like, they can get the Grok to go mid. They're gonna put the Camilla in the off lane, in the side lanes alongside with the Jawhead, and maybe get the Grok to rotate with the Cicilon. Archangels, they can actually go for a ganking lineup. So yep, they can. I mean, Valor is open. That's Selena as well. Both actually do pretty much the same. It's just gonna allow them to be aggressive. Ooh, we might see the Aurora pick. I mean, in the first game, Aurora was kind of banned out, and I was pretty surprised at that. I did mention that Aurora is something that I definitely wouldn't have expected getting picked out. And it looks like they pick up the Kimi. So yeah, Finesse Empress, they want something that can in some way outskill, or rather scale faster than Archangel, and Kimi will do the trick. She definitely scales faster than the carry, although the later the game goes, the better it is for Archangel. And they have a pretty decent draft. I still don't really like the Camilla in the side lanes, but I think if they can delay this game, I don't recommend delaying this game. The later this game goes, Archangel is just gonna be monstrous. You look at the heroes that they have, they are looking to just swallow you whole towards the late game. You got the Esmeralda, the Fasa, heroes that are just monstrous late game, and the carry just well on top of all that. And Tamus is also gonna need a little bit of farm. So I think Finesse Empress have the early game advantage. With the Camilla, not Camilla, but with the Grok, the Jawhead, as well as the Kimi, they can look to set up a couple of ganks. But they need to do it fast, because if Archangels they push the distance, the later this game goes, the better it is for the team that just loves aggressive play themselves.
Welcome to Mobile Legends! 5 seconds till the enemy reaches the battlefield. Smash them! All troops deployed!
Remember, we are in the third game between Archangel, FE, and Empress. This is the grand finals. Whichever team wins this grand finals, I would just be happy for that. I think both are really strong teams, and obviously, although it looks like Archangels are currently looking or poised to take the crown of the grand champions, it is not over just yet. Finesse Empress still have a way back into this, and hopefully it starts with a successful game tree for them. They have been undefeated in the tournament up to the grand finals. I gotta say, that is an interesting lane composition coming up from Archangels. They put the Thomas down the bot lane, and initially I thought it was a I thought they wanted the Fasa to go onto the fighter side, but it just a little bit of mistake on my part, and we might see a team clash here, or a team fight here. Archangels, Ring of Punishment coming up from Defrost. Will happily soak up that maximum charge. Like I said, Archangels are looking to get this carry online ASAP. They do need if the first game is how they're gonna build, then obviously they are gonna build the endless battle first, and then they will go for the golden stuff. They run straight into the far side. It gets the stun as well, but the Curse of the Chroma will not be able to do enough. In fact, Cole will have to go back top lane. Camilla getting caught off guard. Mitsuha trying to stay alive as much as possible. Lexa, and that's gonna be pretty much a first blood coming through. One more hit from Lexa should do the trick. They get the first blood. Meanwhile, bottom lane, Birgit didn't use the ultimate there. I think if she used the ultimate, she could have withstand that fight and can't even win that 1v1.
Turtle resurrecting soon.
So that being said, it's important that the fighters in the lane do not die. That pretty much is their role. It's just to try to outpush the opponent.
Request backup.
Here we go. Making things a little bit hard for the side of Archangels, and that is that early game power coming up from the Grok. You know, the power of nature. You've got a useful CC in the wall. Here we go, definitely doing a good job at isolating Archangels, but now they want to take this turtle. And it's gonna get delayed because of Finesse Empress. I believe they just push them back, but like I said, you know, the later this game goes, the better it is for Archangels. I can see they're just more than happy to just sit around, wait for carry to farm up. This is just slightly detrimental for Finesse Empress because as each minute passes by, we're gonna see the carry become even stronger. And remember, she did manage to get up first blood as well. Esmeralda now jumping the back line, wall charge coming up. Yumiko trying to get the wall charge to run out of distance, but it's not able to do so. Now Dr. Chopper stepping up, one more hit from Alexa will get the kill onto the Cicilon. Maximum charge not enough. And they will go back to taking up the turtle. Raven go away, sticking around. They want to look for the steal. Revitalize being dropped by Archangels. Law and Order used to stun up Lexa as, or not Lexa, but Riket as the rest of the teams pick up. Sorry, I'm just so used to Lexa playing the Kimi. Minotaur under pressure by the Siege Crypt. But Archangels already onto the top side. Feather Airstrike, not gonna land his mark, but it's more important that Finesse Empress just make sure that the carry stays safe. Law and Order being used to stun up the Grok. One more hit should do the trick, and yes, it is. The trolling shot coming up from the far side will get the kill, and they also get another one onto Mitsuha. They should be able to get this tier 1 pretty easily on the top side. Meanwhile, Ejector to stun up the Tamus, and he's just trying to fight back, trying to buy space. And he will eventually go down. Good gang coming in for Finesse Empress, but look at the top. And it's all about efficiency at this point. In fact, Archangels have this 2k goal lead over Finesse Empress, and you know, it's definitely a lot slower compared to game 1 and game 2, but like I said, it really came down to draft. You know, you look at the heroes on the side of Archangels, it's a slightly late game. They didn't manage to pick up the Kimi, they don't have a Valor, they don't have a Jawhead, you know, heroes that allowed them to exploit the power spike of their heroes in the first few minutes. But now Finesse Empress finding themselves under a little bit of a siege. Revitalize being used by Hylos. Just allow them to drop, you know, dive a little bit of the tower. Raven go away trying to be as annoying as possible against this Tamus. In fact, he will be able to get the first kill, or rather the solo kill. top lane. Oh, Finesse Empress now starting to bite back. And I sense a little bit of a slip up coming from Archangels. Definitely going to be a bad fight for Dr. Chopper. Not sure why she dived back in, but that's going to give another kill in the way of Finesse Empress, who have managed to now, for the first time in all 3 matches, overtake Archangels in the goal lead. And not only that, Archangels also lose the tier 2, or rather tier 1s in the mid and the bottom. Finesse Empress definitely very happy with themselves at this point. Turtle coming up, or a Lord coming up in 40 seconds, and the next major team fight is gonna decide who gets that. Maximum charge. Just gonna put a bit of damage down to mid. Not, no real intent in taking out a fight there. Esmeralda, you're gonna have to defend the top lane by herself. Meanwhile, Finesse Empress, they want to do to Archangels what they received in game 1, and they nearly even bring down the Fasa. And Hylos is just pretty much there to delay the tick while Carrie and Tamus are pushing down already. Looks like they're gonna trade the tier 2s. Esmeralda, under the effects of Revitalize, it's suddenly hard to bring them down. In fact, Camilla is the first one to go off. And here comes Fasa as well. One more hit. Raquette has to be careful in position. Can't afford to take too many of those feathered airstrike shots. A bit of a greedy play coming up from Tamus as well as Carrie. Bergrit suddenly going down there, trying to buy time for Carrie to take the Lord, but unable to do so. In fact, they will chase Yumiko away from that hiding spot of hers. As Archangels, they finally get a sense of a challenge from their opponents. Finesse Empress, like I said, definitely not good. Not gonna go down without fighting. Spots out D-Force, and Cicelon's gonna try to just pew at the HP. Esmeralda jumping in with the falling star move. They get the kill onto Raquette. That's the key target they won. And Grog's just there all by herself. Rain dropping in with the smart missiles, but has to be careful. Does not take too much damage in the process. Well, D-Force and Ku are alive. Near death, but alive. And they will go back to just heal up before rejoining their friends in the Lord's Pit. Meanwhile, Mitsuha trying their best to give information to Finesse Empress. In fact, she might be wanting to steal the Lord, a bit ambitious on the part of Mitsuha. She will go down there, but she set up this fight available for them. Lexa's gone down, and now Finesse Empress can look to turn the fight as Martha's dropping really low. Yumiko as, but look at that, Finesse Empress. They bait the fight, and Archangels they were caught in a bad fight there, bad positioning as well. And you could see that I mean they were just dying to take the Lord, and despite getting it, they give away a couple of kills, although Lexa's gonna come up immediately. A little bit of a wise choice coming up from Raven, go away to try to jump onto the carry, but they did not manage to steal away the Lord. And now the super minion waves Archangels, despite losing that small little skirmish, they can now look to push in with the Lord, and in fact they can even take a tier 3 if things go their way. Finesse Empress. They want to bring down this Lord as fast as possible. And Lord, as a mid shoe, has served its purpose. Archangels now, they have room to push down the tier 2s. And not only do they get the mid, I'm pretty sure that the top one will go down by itself. Jawhead in a bit of trouble. They managed to get a kill onto Code, that's good. But now the fight breaking into the middle. Glorious Pathway being laid, but no follow-up action right there. And those creeps, they definitely do hit hard. And although the tier 3s are alive, that was just a small glimpse of Archangel mounting that comeback. And now they're up ahead by 2k. And it certainly does look like Finesse Empress have slowed down just a little bit. And they have to be careful of this late game potential. They are sticking right on top of this Hylos, but still super hard to kill. Feather Airstrike to clear out those waves. Raket gonna be joining the fray. Fight breaking out in the jungle. Mitsuha's gonna try to back off from this one. Meanwhile, Asmurder on the top side pushing in onto the tier 3s at the top. And they're just gonna have to back off now. No ejector coming up. And that is one happy Asmurder. Well, Winter Truncheon coming off the far side. She kind of realizes that she needs to stay in the fight. And if Jawhead jumps on her, she can immediately use the Winter Truncheon to keep herself alive. Like I said, the later the game goes, the better it is for Archangel's. Items almost up for everyone at this point. Ice Dominance coming for Yumiko to slow down the attack speed for the carry, who, you know, hasn't gone that usual build that she has. But she has gone for the Rose Gold Meteor. Just to provide a little bit of sustainability, she's also gone for the Athena Shoe. I think it's the damage that output that's coming out from both the Kimi as well as the Camilla. That's a bit of an issue for Lexa, hence this item build. But she does she's sacrificing so much damage just for sustain, and Dr. Chopper trying to force an opening for Archangels here. Oh, I think Tamus is pretty much dead. Bad impact, and somehow will stay alive. Dr. Chopper coming to the rescue. In fact, Lexa, ooh, from the side, they managed to kill the Grok. They get the stun as well. Law and Order onto Mitsuha, but no follow-up action right there. Archangels, despite all the odds, they managed to get a kill. And I gotta say, that was just poor positioning of Finesse Empress. A moment of a mistake, and that kind of cost them the Lord. Twilight armor coming from Mitsuha, but that is definitely not gonna help much, I gotta say, against this Lexa, who I mean, like I said, the build is really for sustainability. You can see she's going Windtalker as well, so that's just to help with the attack speed that she's lacking, because she didn't go for golden stuff. She's not going for, you know, she's not really going full aggressive. She's trying to sustain the fight, trying to deal out, and hopefully that DPS will start to add up as the fight kind of prolongs. And now Finesse Empress, they know what they have to do here. They get the Q! The Bat's Impact followed by the Bat's Feast. Too much for Farsa to handle, and they get an important Q before the Lord pushes in. And that's definitely gonna help. That's one major source of damage down for Archangels. Later Despair coming off a Jawhead. And they should be able to get this tier 3 down the bot lane. Kimi has to be a bit careful. Asmonot now jumping in. Now is the time the Archangel should take the fight. Kimi just came back from the base. They managed to get the kill onto the Sicilon. They take down the Jawhead as well. And now Archangels, they're forcing their way into this fight. Mitsuha just staying alive with those Crimson Flowers. But I think it's a little bit too late. Dr. Chopper now finishing what must be done. And it's Grog going down. And there it is. The grand champions of the tournament. And it is none other than Archangels FE.
Victory!
I mean, what can I say there? It has been a pretty one-sided fight in this matchup. But in the third game, you gotta say Empress threw everything that they got at Archangels. And despite all of that, it was still not enough. Archangels were just so too strong. And they held on. And true enough, they did manage to bring it all the way down to the late game. A couple of times where I saw Empress did really had a chance in the fight. We saw, you know, they managed to take down they managed to take down the Farsa in a couple of this fight. They managed to take out the Tamus, but that was just due to Archangels trying to buy time for the carry. And like I said, you know, Tamus going down a couple of times in the bot lane, just buying space, delaying Finesse Empress from taking the tower. And true enough, at the end of the day, Archangels, their draft worked out, and I think that they're pretty much, you gotta say, they were undefeatable in this tournament. They did not drop a single game at all. And even showing, flexing a little bit of that flexibility on the carries drop, itemization, you know, choosing to build into a more sustainable build to keep herself alive in the fight, realizing that, you know, building into just purely going for that damage build that she usually goes for, you know, the golden star, building into the golden staff, might not be the most optimal, so she decided to go for the Rose Gold Meteor as well as the Wind Talker. And I mean, the Wind Talker is just there to help with the attack speed, but you know, building into a Tina shield because of the damage output coming off of Sicilon, and this I would say partially due to the Kimi as well. And you know, you look at the items that Finesse Empress have, and they have a lot of range on both the Kimi as well as the Sicilon, so it kind of makes sense to why Lexa kind of built into it. You can see the Archangels were just trying desperately to, not desperately, but you know, to a certain extent, trying really hard to hold on to that early game aggression that Finesse Empress were outputting, and it succeeded. And you know, they must be feeling pretty proud for themselves. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that game. I definitely did, and what can I say? A big shout out once again to official partners and Dreamcore, Super Solid, as well as Yahoo TV for being our official partners for this event. And you know, big shout out to all the viewers at home. Hopefully you guys enjoyed my casting. I certainly enjoyed watching those games, and you know, a couple of close calls in the fight. Obviously the closest one was in the opening game. I think it was SGP Fam up against I forget who they were up against. I think it was also up against Finesse Empress, and that was a game to behold. That was like so close, but you know, eventually it is what it is. With that being said, once again, congratulations to Archangel FE for being the grand champions. They will walk away with 4,000 diamonds. Finesse Empress, hold your heads up high. You put up a good fight, especially in game 3, and they will also walk away with 2,000 diamonds for being the runner-ups. And you know, to BREN ESPORTS, VICTRESS, as well as I believe it's NEXPLAY Predator. NEXPLAY Predator Tempest. Sorry, they came in 4th place, so both of them will walk away with 1,000 diamonds. So that's not too shabby as well. And finally, my name is Aries. Hope you guys enjoyed all of this. The next additional tournament should be the Indonesia one, so remember to like and share the stream, as well as follow us on social media on Instagram as well as Facebook. to find out when the next tournament will come up, and we'll also keep you guys updated with the FSL circuit when news gets updated on that. Once again, I enjoyed this entire tournament, and I'll see you next time round.
My aim is impeccable! Blind confidence will get you nowhere. If only I could be taller. My aim is impeccable! To me, fun is all that matters.
Killing spree! Monster kill! Double kill! Double kill! Legendary! Double kill! Mega kill! Executed! Double kill!
If only I could be taller.
Legendary!
Download for free Mobile Legends Bang Bang.